I'm going to walk you through how I make a Polymer Intaglio print. First, I make a photographic exposure with my camera, and then I move it into Photoshop and I alter it in the computer to even out the tones and reduce the overall contrast. Then I make a negative for the plate and I print it to size to create a contact negative. And I'm using a film that is shown here. Once I've done that, then I go to the studio and I prepare the studio for plate making and then plate testing. In plate making, we use an exposure unit that has UV bulbs and a plate holder that is consists of wood base, foam, glass, and then you clamp the glass down to have an even exposure. Before you're going to use your plate, you take it out of the bag that doesn't allow light tight bag, and you make sure to peel the plastic off the plate. It's a transparent plastic. You lay that plate onto the contact holder on the foam, and you then lay a halftone screen over the plate, and you cover the glass, put the clamps on, put the unit on, and you expose that for 45 seconds. You remove the halftone screen and you lay your negative face down onto the plate, and you cover it up again and expose it for 25 to 30 seconds. Make sure that between your exposures you cover that plate with a blanket or something that's light tight, because you do not want to continue to expose your plate. After the exposure, you place the plate into a water bath for 20 to 30 seconds, and really the wash is dependent on your image and how contrasty you want it, and you need to figure that out for yourself. Then you dry the plate with the sun, or you place it back into the exposure unit until it is hard. Next you need to trim the plate to make sure that all your edges are clean and it's just the image. So you do that in a plate cutter. Then you prepare your inking area and you ink up the plate. Once you have inked up the plate, you wipe it out so the residual ink is gone, and you clean off the edges and you lay it in the press bed. Once you've done that, you take your paper that you've been soaking and you actually take the extra water off of it by placing the paper into blankets and just soaking that up, and then you lay your paper face down onto your plate. You cover that plate and paper with foam and maybe a blanket, trying to build up the surface, and then you lay the press blankets over and you run the plate through the press once, and then you could, if you choose, run it back through the press again to make sure that the ink is transferred to the paper. You peel that paper off and you lay it to dry. You check it out, make sure you like it. You might need to ink it up again, and it takes a while for the plates to get seasoned. Once you have completed your prints, you let them dry in flattening boards for 3 to 5 days. And after that, I take water-based oils and I do washes or brushwork, and then once that's dry, I add in colored pencils. And that's how I get my images.